Behind every major victory of a professional athlete is a long and thorny path, but sometimes an athlete faces seemingly insurmountable challenges. Let's remember the most amazing stories of skaters who were able to return to the ice and become champions despite the frightening diagnoses of doctors. Before Anton Sikharulidze, Elena skated in a pair with Oleg Shliakov. The relationship with Oleg was strained. Elena was often harassed by her oppressive partner, and sometimes even had to endure beatings. In the end, the skater decided that she would leave Oleg immediately after the European Championships in 1996. But the pair failed to reach the Continental Championship. 14-year-old Berezhnaya and 19-year-old Shliakov started training together in 1991. At that time 7 partners had already run away from the skater. At that time, coach Vladimir Zakharov, who trained Elena, was looking for a couple for her, and the choice fell on a free Oleg. Together Berezhnaya and Shliakov rolled 4 seasons. This time was not easy for Elena. She herself later recalled that the partner was rude to her and even beat her for the slightest provocations. If anything did not work out, Berezhnaya received a fist. According to her, the biggest problems began when the victories at major tournaments came. At first I hit so that no one saw, and apologized. And when they started winning at major tournaments, it was like he went crazy. As soon as we made a mistake, he would start up from the start, yelling, pouncing with his fists. Whether there were people around us or not, he didn't care, the athlete recalled. It is noteworthy that Shliakov's mother knew about her son's problems and preferred to solve them in an unconventional way, went with him to various psychics, hoping that they could remove the spoil from her son. And Elena put compresses after the beatings and told her to be patient. In 1994, when the couple was training in St. Petersburg under the guidance of legendary coach Temura Moskina, she could not stand it. The specialist called the couple's relationship slavery and urged Berezhnaya to leave her crazy partner. However, despite all the problems, Elena continued to skate in a pair with Oleg. On the St. Petersburg ice she met Sikharulidze. First Elena and Anton became firm friends, and then began to meet. They hid their relationship, because they're couples, and at that time Sikharulidze performed together with Maria Petrova, were direct competitors on the ice. However, Shliakov soon found out about it and again reacted in the most inadequate way. He followed them, guarded them in the street, and arranged a showdown. That Shliakov had mental problems was also told by his coach Oleg Vasilyev, who coached the skater, and Elena Siroputova, his partner with whom he performed after Berezhnaya. Oleg was a sick man. He was registered at the psychoneurological dispensary in Riga. He needed to take medication all the time. In normal life he posed no threat to society. But against the background of high sports loads and trainings he stopped controlling himself. He could hit his partner, someone else. And after 5 minutes to forget about it, shared once in an interview with online 812 specialist. Tragedy, which could put a cross not only on the sports career of Elena, but also on her health, occurred on January 6, 1996. Then Berezhnaya and Shliakov were training in Riga before the European Championships, which was a week away. During one of the training sessions, while performing a parallel rotation, Oleg hit Elena's temple with the blade of his skate. The figure skater immediately collapsed on the ice, blood rushed from her head, and while waiting for an ambulance, the girl got even worse and lost consciousness. Elena herself told this moment as follows. Suddenly, very close to me, I saw Shliakov's horse. I wanted to shout, "What are you doing?" but I didn't have time. A blow to the temple, I fell, a scarlet blood stain on the ice. There was no sharp pain, I remained conscious and watched everything as if from the outside. Recalled Elena. The figure skater was urgently taken to the hospital and stitched up. However, throughout the whole time she was silent. Initially it was written off as stress, only later doctors realized that the horse not only crushed her skull, but also damaged the speech center. Berezhnaya understood everything, but could not utter a word. She had to undergo heavy surgeries, because of which she spent a long time in the hospital. Doctors made a terrible diagnosis: damage to the temporal bone, important centers of the brain were affected. When all this happened, Elena was only 18 years old. She had to undergo 2 complicated neurosurgical operations, and the doctors' prognoses were disappointing. Elena's relatives were prepared for the fact that the girl will no longer be able not only to walk, but also to talk. That the couple Berezhnaya and Shliakov continued their existence was out of the question. Although Oleg apologized for the incident and promised that the figure skater will be put on her feet by the World Championships, further athletes could not work together. Shlyakov's reaction again struck many. He long resented, recalling how much money was invested in Elena. Berezhnaya's rehabilitation was slow and difficult, but her speech returned to her after some time. Even though at first Elena spoke with difficulty, slowly, stammered, but she spoke. Since then she has not communicated with her former partner. Anton and Tamara Moskvina did not believe that the figure skater would ever be able to perform professionally again. But 9 months after the injury, in the fall of 1996, the couple already began serious training. And in January 1997, Berezhnaya and Sikharulidze became bronze medalists at the European Championships. Only the tremendous support of loved ones, love and care of Anton Sikharulidze helped Berezhnaya not to fall into a deep depression. Lena relearned to walk and talk. It is a miracle that with such an injury she did not remain disabled. Even more impressive is the fact that Elena was not only able to return to normal life, but also to continue her professional career as a figure skater. Few people believed it, but in 1998 Elena Berezhnaya and Anton Sikharulidze won the European and World Championships and became silver medalists at the Olympics. The pair had a brilliant next Olympic cycle and won the coveted gold medal at the Olympic Games in Salt Lake City, winning Sui and Han. In this Chinese couple, at first, few people believed because of the inappropriate anthropometric data. The partner was told for a long time that with his height one could not even think about professional pair skating. Soon had to work hard to prove to himself and others that he too is capable of achieving high results. But the most serious challenges for Sui and Han were ahead of them. First, in one of the training sessions before the Four Continents Championships, Wenying had a bad fall on a quadruple ejection and hit her head hard on the board, temporarily blinded in one eye. Then, in May 2016, the skater had to undergo surgery on both legs. Her ankles were damaged. She was in bed for 3 months and could not get up. The pain was immense and I couldn't bear it. I couldn't sleep without painkillers. And I had to lie on the bed all the time, recalls the figure skater. You had to start from scratch. And there were no guarantees that Wenying could at least return to her previous level. It wasn't until late 2016 that Sui was able to start training and begin the arduous journey of rehabilitation and recovery. Han patiently waited for his partner, helped her recover and supported her in every way possible throughout. In 2017, the skaters spectacularly won the Four Continents Championships and World Championships, and at the last Olympics in Beijing, the Chinese duo won the coveted Olympic gold medal.